Danai Gurira leaving The Walking Dead. So this is now my argument why this actually is not that big of a deal, or maybe not that disappointing. To me, like I said off the top, this was not that surprising to me, right? We know that she's been involved with Marvel. We know that she's in talks for other movies too, going with that. Of course, she will be at the end of her 3-movie deal, though, for after Endgame. But of course, everyone knows that we'll probably most likely be getting a Black Panther sequel, right? And so with this Black Panther sequel, she'll probably be in that as well. So she'll probably sign an extended contract with that. And I'm not sure exactly what the details of all her Marvel contract are anyways. But anyways, so, you know, we know that she's breaking out. We know that she's being very successful, as is literally every other Walking Dead star. I mean, we see this, I keep saying this over and over again. Michael Cudlitz, Stephen Yeun, John Bernthal, maybe the biggest name of that, right? You know, Lauren Cohan, she's getting her own series now, and she's still kind of attached to the show. So to see Danai Gurira be successful after The Walking Dead, not a big surprise. When you're on a show like that gets that much exposure, and you're a good actress, like she is an amazing actress, you're going to get attention, and you're going to want, or sorry, you're going to get other projects who want you, right? And so that's what has happened. And to see her then, you know, now this news comes out, well, she'll probably be leaving after season 10. Of course, limited involvement in season 10. She won't be in every episode. I'm actually okay with this because, you know, over the years, I mean, Michonne has been one of my favorite characters, don't get me wrong, in the series. But as of recent, I just felt like her kind of story arc is over. And I felt like with the exit of Rick, and especially with the time jump, if they hadn't done the time jump, I still would think Michonne would be an integral part to this story, especially exploring kind of her, how she's dealing with the loss of Rick. But because of they did the time skip, now all she really is the leader of Alexandria. And I believe her story arc of her coming in from season 3 to now is kind of spent. Even though I love Danai Gurira as an actress, I really have loved Michonne's character over the years, her character has kind of reached an end point. Now, yes, she's, you know, an original whatever, I mean, right? So she was from season 2, episode 13, the first time she came in. And, you know, obviously you want to keep as many original members as you can. At this point, they only have 2 cast members from season 1 still in the show. And I totally understand that point, but I feel like if your character is, you know, kind of like this, right? And, you know, it's kind of reached the end of your arc, as in my opinion, I think, yeah, and you have a lot of successful stuff to go on after this. I feel like that's a fair point. But with this as well, with Danai Gurira leaving, I kind of want Maggie back. I want Lauren Cohan to come back because, again, I feel like her character is even more, has a more meaningful arc going forward right now in the show than Michonne does, right? Again, Michonne has kind of been proven as herself, right? Now she's a mother, though. I guess that's kind of coming into play here, too. But we haven't spent a lot of time on that. Maggie we have, and of course her whole loss with Glenn, she went through that, leader with the Hilltop, now she's over with Georgie. So there's a ton of stuff, right, to bring Maggie back and explore that story arc that they're kind of building for her, or that they were building for her just as she left the show in season 9, episode 5. So I would much rather see Maggie come back. I would be okay with that if then Michonne was to leave. And I think ultimately the news that she is going to be in a few episodes of season 10 and then she's going in the movies almost confirms that she will not die in the original series. And this isn't like Andrew Lincoln. They're not saying that she'll never be in the series again. I could totally see Danai Gurira coming back for a few episodes if need be at the end of the show or in a, you know, small arc or something like that. I don't think it's not like a, a bad relationship end, type of thing, right? I think this is still a very, good relationship. She's just going on to other things. She's been with the series 7 years. It is what it is. Her character has kind of reached an end point, or at least for me, personally, and so she's moving on. To me, I'm not too surprised, and I'm not that upset, honestly. And as a Walking Dead fan, I'm like, when I see this news, I'm like, oh, like, obviously kind of disappointed. But then thinking about it more, right, it's like, maybe it's not that big of a deal, right? Maybe we will be okay. And again, it makes so much more sense to have her in the movies, because this was a question that a lot of fans asked is, how would you have Rick in 3 movies and then never have him return to the original series, but still have Michonne in the original series, right? At some point, he's got to meet up with Michonne. It would just make sense for his story. And so I think this solves that issue completely with having her go into the movies. Obviously, I do not think she will be in the first movie, but the second movie, maybe. So, anyways, I'm excited to see her in the movies and how this story plays out. And then, eventually, then they'll probably just finish her story along with Rick's together. And maybe they, live on happily ever after. And the original series goes on without the two. So, anyways, in terms of, picking an ending for a character, this is definitely a good option for AMC and The Walking Dead to kind of, send Danai Gurira off in these movies, wrap up her story. From a creative standpoint, I think it's the best you could do, right, with her leaving. And again, I mean, she could have just not signed for any episodes in season 10. Like, this could be a lot worse than it is. Like I said, I don't think the relationship is torn or diminished at all between the two. And so I'm sure that we will see her maybe eventually in the series again, but for sure in the Rick movies. So anyways, my kind of final thing is, it's not as big of a deal as people may make it out to be, for me at least. Yes, it's disappointing. You don't like to see it, characters leave like that. But I will mention again, Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride have signed 3-year deals, franchise deals. That's an important part of that too. So at least we'll see the two of them for the next 3 seasons at least. I think right now, Melissa McBride could even leave, and I would be okay with it. It would be disappointing, but I would be okay with it. Norman Reedus, I think, is the key for longevity here with this series. I think when he leaves, I think you can make an argument that the show will be ending very shortly thereafter. But until that happens, I'm still confident, and of course, I'll still be watching, right?